And welcome back. That so-called asylum seeker, which was accused of 2 accounts of sexual assault, which he was a host of Epping, one of those hotels for them, has been convicted. And the story goes, sexually assaulted a lady of the age of 38 and a teenage girl of 14. Obviously, the CCTV cameras footage have, nailed him to the cross. There's no doubt about it. There is a film footage. And we must ask ourselves, from these grooming characters in Dingy Doves that come over, which the left is so enthusiastic to have them, new rocket scientists, new engineers, what they bring? They bring misery, criminality, and right up to planning terrorist attacks on symbols of Christianity in the West. Like Viterbo, the police, the Italian police, have done a very good job. God knows if these people were 3 people who weren't caught in time. They managed to arrest 2. Third is still a fugitive. If they would have gone through their so-called terrorist attack at Viterbo, there was more than 40,000 people last night which attended the Santa Rosa. Typical procession this part of the year for this beautiful town, which is she's the Saint Patron of Viterbo. And we got to ask ourselves, we have to put a stop on these people coming over Dingy Doves illegally, making them believe they are so-called refugees from a war, persecuted here and there. They invent all stories not to be deported. Like last and not least, which some part of the United Kingdom don't remember, this so-called asylum seeker was convicted of sexual assault and other related offences to this case. Basically how the story goes, this girl, 19-year-old girl, was waiting for her dad to pick her up. She phoned her. It's a so-called asylum seeker in a car, which is, I think it's Syrian. He managed to lure on board, drag on board, and I think it wasn't for the local bystanders, other people, to stop him. And obviously when they get captured, they come with pathetic excuses. I didn't know what we're doing and all stuff like that. It is a load of bullshit. Because obviously their culture is based on that. How they treat women in their country, that's how they treat, in the same way, the victims of their crimes. Of sexual assault. Just like that to begin with. And we could even arrive to grooming sexual horrible practices against young ladies and women. Do we want people in our countries? No. Well, it seems the politicians to be powerless. Say, oh, it's a different culture from us. They come from a primitive culture. In their country, that type of civilization hasn't even arrived in their culture. Regarding other immigrants which had an impact of ex-colonies and stuff like that, that Western culture, whether it's good or bad, believe you me, they do not do these things. Those ones who come over, legally speaking, they integrate, have no problems with no one, and they contribute to society. For us, those things do not bother us. But it's this illegals, which, being cited by a certain political wing, lefties, liberals and all this shit, this type of uncivilized behaviour. No. If the politicians don't do something, it's up to us. Like in England, taking the destiny of a company, of a nation, back into their own hands, control. Because obviously there is a type of agenda behind it, which is very dark, mysterious and sinister as well, which personally I do not like. There is something fishy. Why important? So many of these illegals for what? They do not work, they're not useful for society. They only commit crimes. From the most petty crimes like theft to horrible crimes, which are sexual assaults, grooming gangs and all that shit. No. More that they come, more they bring this type of violent culture. These people hate us. What our culture stands for, also called democracy, they hate. If you hate us, don't come into our lands. Stay where you are. It would have been more simpler. And obviously, when we go over abroad in certain countries, we must behave ourselves. It's obvious because you're a host in someone else's house, basically. This is how you behave. But these so-called illegals, and they're like those, have no respect for no one, do what they want, and the consequences are that were explained already. They are bringing down a society. And I see people accepting this type of shitty culture. No, we must not accept it. We must stand by in things which we believe in. Our values, our history, our culture. You think some third world, God knows what, uncivilized culture, think they're going to dominate with their religion? No, that's not on. We must stand up against these things, whether you like it or not, because if we can continue to permit these people do what they fucking like and taking over, we are doomed, mate. It's simple as that.